Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be reviewing the new Revolution London Ultraviolet palette. I did already create this look off camera for you guys. This palette, for some reason, the blue shade in this palette reminded me of the KKW X Mario eyeshadow palette. I do have that palette as well. I've never used it, but a few of these shades do remind me of shades that are in that palette. This palette retails for $10 at Ulta. You can use a 20% off and they'll take off like $2, so you can get it for $8, which is not too bad. It does have an array of shimmers, mattes, and glitters in this palette, which I do like. I'm gonna go ahead and swatch these shades for you at the end of the video, but for now I'm just gonna go ahead and go over what it is that I think about the shades that I have used so far. So for this look, I did use the shade Dunes, this shade called Oasis, of course the blue shade, then the shade Peaceful. We use Serene in the inner corners, and Tranquil to not clean up, but blend out the edges of Dunes. So those are the 5 shades that I use out of the 15. So first of all, the packaging is just beautiful. It's just a purple acrylic casing. These are what the shades look like. I just love the array of colors. They're so pretty. You have some pastels, you have some, you know, warm tone shades, you have a few cool tone shades, well, plenty of cool tone shades actually. It's just a really nice palette. I like that it has the pastel shades in here, like they're really nice. So what inspired me for this eyeshadow look was the KKW campaign photo or whatever that she did with Mario. I'll go ahead and insert a picture here so that way you're able to see what picture I'm talking about. But this is the KKW eyeshadow palette, and these are what the shades look like, and this is the blue that, you know, it stood out to me. It made me, the blue in this palette stood out to me and made me think of this palette. Of course, I definitely picked it up for that reason. This shade kind of reminds me of the Dunes shade, because this one's a little bit too light. So this one reminds me of Dunes, this one's a little bit too light. So anyways, this shade reminded me of Oasis, this one kind of reminded me of Dunes, and then, well, of course you have the other shades that can kind of compare to the ones that are inside this eyeshadow palette here. Like we have a matte shade here, like a vanilla matte shade, and we also have a vanilla matte shade in the KKW. So we have this shade here called Desert, and this one kind of looks similar. Oh, I just dug my finger all in that shade, girl. We have this shade here. It looks very similar to the shade Desert. So this shade here reminds me of Desert in this palette. We have Tranquil, which kind of, this one's a little bit lighter, but it kind of reminds me of this shade here, this shade called Sunlit, and it reminds me of this shade here. I'm getting makeup everywhere. It reminds me of this shade here. Then you have this shade Island, and you have this shade called Peaceful, and both of them are purples. This is I feel like Peaceful is more like this shade here, but this one is like a shimmer shade and Peaceful is a matte shade. But the shade Island that I showed you, it has a little bit of sheen to it, like a little bit of flecks of glitter in it that kind of reminds me of, you know, the palette. And then we have this shade called Serene. So this shade called Serene, it kind of reminds me of this shade in the palette, but not too much. But yeah, I feel like this palette definitely like there's some shades in this palette that resemble this eyeshadow palette from KKW. So when I saw this palette from Makeup Revolution, I was like, these shades are kind of like the ones from the KKW X Mario palette. And so I was like, I'm gonna go ahead and pick it up and swatch them so that way you guys can see the pigmentation on these. Swatch whatever I think looks very similar. So let me go in with this shade. This is the vanilla shade in the KKW palette, and then this is the vanilla shade in this palette, and this one's called Sandy. So is this shade Dunes, and I'll go ahead and swatch that here, and then I'll go ahead and swatch. Ooh, this one's very pigmented compared to Dunes. It's more red, like a brick red. The shade Peaceful, and Peaceful reminds me of this shade here, which is Vegas, but this one's a shimmer shade. So Peaceful and Vegas, they kind of look similar, except this one's a shimmer, this one's a matte. And then you also have this shade here, which kind of reminds me of that one, but it's more on the matte side. But it does have a little bit of sheen in it. And this one kind of reminds me of that purple as well. This shade here is from the KKW palette. And then we have this one from... This one's called Sunlit, and this one is from, of course, the Makeup Revolution. And I feel like, oh, this one's definitely, no, these aren't dupes, but this is more copper, this one's more bronzy. Let me see if Peaceful will kind of fall in that category next to the KKW one. So this is Peaceful from, let's try this one next to Peaceful. So they're not dupes, but they're very like similar in tone. So I mean, if you don't want to spend the money for an expensive palette, you can always look for dupe shades or shades that are kind of closer to the eyeshadow palette that you're, the high-end eyeshadow palette that you're looking into. And then we have Serene. And then this is the one that I feel like is closest to Serene. So KKW definitely is more white champagne. This one's more of a champagne. This is more of a white shimmer shade. But there are similarities. Like, I feel like you can definitely create a look with this palette and kind of just try to, you know, instead of spending money on a more expensive palette, you can always go in with something cheaper that is of good quality. The only thing that I think bothers me is that this is a putty. It's a cream putty, so it kind of like creases. It's not like a powder formula like the blue in the Mario palette. I didn't even swatch the blue. Let's compare the two blues next to each other. So comparing the blues next to each other, KKW's is definitely more of a royal blue, and this is more of a lighter blue. So it's not a dupe, but it did remind me so much of the palette that I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and just swatch them side by side so you guys can get an idea of why I felt like they were almost alike. For the rest of the shades that I didn't swatch, I'm going to go ahead and swatch them on my arms. So we'll go in with these shades here. Oh, they're so pretty. So this is Paradise. Very, very subtle. That's Paradise right there. I don't know if you can see it. Then we have Velvet. Oh, that's real pretty. Then we have Idyllic. So this is Idyllic. That's a very pretty shade. And then the next shade is Ambience. I love the shade names, by the way. They're like so like such calming names, like Peaceful and Paradise, you know. So I definitely love the shade names in this palette. And then we didn't swatch, so let's swatch this one here, this one. I think that's it because I swatched all the other ones, comparing them to the KKW. This is Lush. And then we have Haven. So those are the shades there, and these are the ones that I didn't swatch alongside the KKW. But this is a really nice palette for the price, $10. I mean, you get your pastels, you get some warm shades, you get some cool shades, you get a good amount of colors. I feel like there's a good amount of colors to create a Valentine's Day look, especially with the purples in here and the pink and these shades here. I mean, you can go with a natural look because, you know, you have your basic colors. You can add in pops of colors. I feel like it's a very versatile palette. Definitely do like the formula of these eyeshadows. I feel like the 5 shades that I did use did amazing. I didn't create the look exactly like the photo, but I was inspired by it, so I did do the blue the way she has it on her lids. I really hope that you guys like the turnout of it. I do like the turnout of it. I think it looks really pretty. It's something different. They're colors that I don't typically like gear towards, especially the blue. I mean, purples I have used before, but blue never do I really gear towards blue. I think I've done like one makeup look doing blue eyeshadow. That was it. I'll go ahead and try to insert a picture here somewhere. So since this color kind of reminded me of the one that Mario uses on Kim for a campaign picture, I'm gonna go ahead and try to recreate that look, but of course using more colors, because of course she just has like a blue swept all over her lid. I'm sure he used other colors from her palette, but I'm gonna just use this one. I do have that palette. I have not used it. It's like brand new. I've had it for quite some time, and I just haven't dipped into it. Like, I don't know, I'm just like that. Sometimes I'll buy stuff and I won't use it. I'll have it there and it just sits there, collects dust, you know, that kind of thing. I'm just kidding. I'm gonna be going in with this shade Tranquil, and I'm just gonna take this brush from Morphe, and this is the Jaclyn Hill JH32 brush, and we're gonna be applying this right above the crease. It's a very light shade, but it is showing up. I don't know if you guys can see on camera, but it is showing up. Okay, now I'm gonna go in with my MAC 217, and I'm gonna take the shade Dunes. And I'm gonna just run that right in the crease area, brushing it in circular motion. Alright, so for those of you who are wanting to enter this giveaway, make sure that you are subscribed to the channel, like this video, comment down below, and I will have a secret. This is a secret giveaway, so if you are watching through the video, then you know that the giveaway is going on. So that's all you have to do, and you will be entered into the giveaway. So good luck to all of you who do watch the video through and enter the giveaway. So far I do like the pigmentation, the way it comes out. I do like the way it blends out. It blends out really, really nicely. I'm gonna go ahead and go in with Peaceful on the outer corner. And I'm gonna use the Morphe M506. This is the brush that I just picked up. And this is like a very dark eggplant shade, so I'm going to use this on the outer part of the eye. Ooh, that is so pigmented. Oh my god. I'm gonna kind of create like a V shape out in the outer third of the eye. And some of this I am gonna go over with the blue, but I do want to add some of that shade there. This is a very pretty purple shade. I'm going to go back in with Dunes and just kind of go around that purple because I don't want to lose the Dunes shade. I'm kind of hoping that the color will just show up. This blue shade, I'm kind of hoping that it'll just show up on the skin, but look at how pretty it is. It's such a pretty blue. It's very stunning. So I'm hoping that it'll show up on the lid without cutting the crease or anything. This is like a cream formula, so with the brush, it's like kind of... With the brush, it's not really going on that well. I think it would be better with the finger. But I'm going to try to get it as precise as I can get it before going in with my finger. It's a really pretty blue shade. I do love the color. I just need to continue to work on it. So here I'm just basically going back in with the same shades that I was using just to build up any color that was lost during applying the lid shade, which is the blue shade Oasis. I had trouble with the blue only because it's like a putty formula, so it doesn't really like stick that well to the lid. The other shades I had no issues with. I feel like they blended out really nicely. This is such a good palette, and the eyeshadows really are a good formula. So I definitely recommend this eyeshadow palette, especially for the price. So I do like the way that it looks. It's very, very pretty blue. I'm gonna go ahead and add eyeliner and some lashes, and I'm gonna do the other eye off camera and then I'll come back. But so far this is what it's looking like, and I do like the way the colors blend out. The only thing about this shadow is you do have to build it up because it's like a putty. I don't know if you can tell, but it moves around. It's like a putty eyeshadow, but the pigmentation definitely is there. I do feel like you have to build it up, but it's one of those cream shadows, like those like putty cream shadows. I don't know if that makes any sense, but That's what it's coming off to me as. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the other eye off camera, put some lashes and liner on, and pop on a lippy, and then I'll be right back. Alright you guys, thank you for tuning in to this video. I hope that you enjoyed the video. I hope that you enjoyed the eye look. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, and I will be seeing you guys in my next video.